despite the finish to the season, a lot went right for the Cubs in 2023. We try to explain it now.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Please support the show by following on your preferred audio platform, and you can watch, subscribe, to leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's Tuesday episode is presented by Jase Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jase case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jasemedical.com. That's J-A-S-E medical.com. Pleased to kick off another week on the show with you as we lead off this week on a Tuesday. We're rolling along into October here, Sam. Baseball playoffs underway. Bears won a game since I saw you last, and we're going to talk more Cubs as we kick off another week here.
Yeah, and you know, sorry that we didn't have an episode out for Monday. I mean, technically, I don't think we needed to, and I was quite under the weather this weekend, and it was to the point where I thought if I recorded it would almost be uncomfortable to our great listening community. And you know, it kind of seems like since the last time I saw you, you have auditioned and successfully casted in the role of Survivor. So,
well, yeah, I am going to be taking another leave of absence soon as I'm going on to the show, and I thought I'd pre-plan a little bit. So usually you go clean shaven, you get a beard on the island.
Yeah.
But, you know, in case I get voted off early, I wanted to kind of go prepared. So
right, and I still have some effects of my virus. So it's kind of a battling show, but let's get into the great stuff. Let's talk Cubs baseball.
And I'm not going on Survivor. So
well, yeah, some people will think you're taking another leave of absence, and I'll keep getting these messages about where you are. People still don't understand the schedule. I get a message every other day. So are you by yourself?
I'm here 3 days a week.
Are you by yourself, or is it with Matt today? Well, I don't know. And shout out to
Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, folks.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to do a shout out, but I want to make sure I get it right first. Keep going.
Oh, fantastic. Well, should I wait then as we keep going?
Yeah, no, I just want to give a shout out to one of our biggest supporters, Eric the Underdog, and his.
Oh, yes. He's a big supporter.
Well, no, and him and I have exchanged a couple audio messages on Instagram. His Throw the Ball Foundation. I'm going to be helping him support that charity. I'm going to get more details as it goes, but I just want to give him a shout out.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I'm excited to hear what that is.
Excuse me.
And that's going to be before the end of the calendar year, I believe.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So despite the finish to the season for the Cubs in 2023, a lot did went right this past season, and we're going to go over some of those unsung heroes this past Friday's episode. A little bit of crossover with that, but also some good stretches to remind of, and a couple other things as well, as this was a team that was 10 games under 500, went to 12 games over 500. Of course, the finish was underwhelming at best, but you had some good
oh,
things.
Boy, that's a real – you're in a good mood today.
I wanted to focus on players that are in the conversation for 2024, at least under team control, so to speak.
Yep.
So right off the bat, I want to just get out of the way Cody Bellinger, who's not in the mix for 24, at least not right now.
Yeah.
One of the 10 best hitters in baseball. We understand that went right. A 1-year pillow deal. Jeff Passan has made the case before, Sam. There's no bad 1-year deals.
Right.
And the Cubs really hit that out of the park.
Right.
He was one of the 10 best hitters in the game. That worked out. Kyle Hendricks, the team has a club option on him. He furthered his place as a veteran starting pitcher. Then you go down the list from there. And I really hope Hendricks returns in 24. We'll get to that at some point this month.
No, I might save that for
recap the season.
I might save that for one of my solos.
Yeah, I think it's a great topic, and
because he's gonna be back.
Given the price point, you got to try to bring him back. Maybe they
1 year,
for 25 as well.
1 year 16 is going to turn into 2 years 20.
Great. I would be ecstatic.
I've already talked to my financial guy.
Where I want to start with this is Justin Steele emerging as a top-level starting pitcher.
Sure.
Not sure if he is an ace, but he was one of the best starters in baseball this season. And for a franchise that lacks severely homegrown pitching, much less starting pitching, this was great to see.
I'm so sick, literally, of these terms. He's an ace. Like, what does that mean? What did he finish the year? 16-5 with a 3 ERA. Like, he had an ace caliber season. It was his second full year as a starter. TBD on the rest. I think that.
Well, I don't think there's many aces anymore.
I don't even know what that means. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what an ace is. Is Spencer Strider an ace? Because Justin Steele had an ERA almost a full run lower. So, like, I don't know what that. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well, what terminology would you like to use?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's why you're the producer. I'm not going to shortchange what Justin Steele did because of some, face card and poker. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I think we, and I know I do this, confuse ace with strikeouts. And rightfully so, Justin Steele does not miss a ton of bats. And yes, Justin Steele had a poor finish to his season.
Yeah.
2 of his last 3 starts were not good. It is what it is.
Right.
In 2023, Justin Steele was one of the 2 best players on the Cubs. He was one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball. And heading into 2024, he is going to be, at worst, one of your 2 best pitchers. Most likely, unless they make a huge acquisition, will get the ball on opening day. He proved that he could pretty much make it through almost an entire season. He had 1 injury blip. Like we said, he didn't finish strong. His success, a lot like Kyle Hendricks, a lot like Marcus Stroman, is he relies on making sure that the ball does not get hit hard very often. And he was really good at that. And I think his success and the way he throws is very sustainable. I think the Cubs kind of, excuse me, I think the Cubs kind of got a little bit lucky with Steele because this whole cut ride fastball thing, it kind of seemed like it almost just came out of nowhere for him. And it wasn't something that they saw originally, but I think Justin Steele is going to be a huge part of the Cubs' future. I think Justin Steele will be starting playoff games for the Chicago Cubs at some point. And I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a huge fan of the type of dude that he is. And I know we're not doing grades, but for lack of a better term, I would give his grade a flat A. Just it couldn't be more of a flat A.
Yeah, and I think we're going to do a little bit of a twist from last offseason. We're going to do position group grades rather than individuals.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be our twist.
Okay.
As we continue to recap the 2023 campaign. By the way, what would you like to hear? Would you like to hear us continue to recap 23 or just preview 24? I shouldn't say just, but I think we always try to balance both things. But I'd like you, the listener, to let us know.
And I think next time we do Event Line, we should just get people on and just say something like, hey, my biggest concerns right now with this team are, boom, and just let them go.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And
just let people do their thing. You start the sentence, let them finish it, let them do their thing.
Well, that'd be great. I'd love for them to call in.
Yeah. So
Adbert Alzolay.
Yeah.
He was a giant bright spot for a team that entered the season, believe it or not, a Major League Baseball team actually entered the season without a closer, if you can believe it or not.
Right.
Brad Boxberger was the bleeping closer to start the year.
And Fulmer.
Then it was Michael Fulmer. And pretty soon it was Alzolay, and it couldn't come soon enough, player. Because he fits that bill. He was the guy. He was the dude to be there at the end of these games. It was exciting to see, and I'm glad that he's going to anchor this bullpen going into 24 and beyond.
Yeah, I think he did a great job. I think I would be absolutely thrilled if he was the ninth inning guy starting March 20 whatever in Arlington.
28th.
And that could be against the defending world champs at this point.
Right.
And but I
what's with these off-season shows, man?
No, it's hard, man. 2 weeks ago I was sweating this team every day, and now we're just talking 24. I feel like I'm at a time.
Well, I would like to do that a little more. We're kind of more recapping 23, honestly.
No, so
I want to talk about Yamamoto.
But I wouldn't be, upset if they got a different closer and he was the eighth inning guy. I thought Alzolay, similar to Steele, was really, really good for most of the season. And then his thing was he got injured. He just wasn't the same. I mean, you could make the case that if Adbert Alzolay was completely healthy throughout the whole year, the Chicago Cubs are playing right now in Los Angeles. I mean, you could make that case. You could.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, and I like Alzolay's moxie as much as I do his pitch mix. I wouldn't say he's a failed starter necessarily, but I think that he found his spot at this level, and the Cubs were able to find a person that they really needed to step up in those situations.
Right.
You talked about him a little bit on Friday, but who would have thought Miguel Amaya would have been on this team in 23, even for a week, much less basically the entire year?
Yeah.
Got called up in early May, and he was pretty much on the roster the rest of the way. And it looks like the Gomes-Amaya combo is a for sure thing entering 24 behind the dish.
Yeah, and I think Amaya has, like, you look at his overall numbers and you say, Sam, what are you talking about? But if you watch him play every day, I think there's real upside there. Like, I think
he didn't play much.
I think he could be a really good catcher in the major leagues.
Yes.
Like a very good starting catcher. So that position is one of the few that is absolutely settled heading into the 2024 campaign that'll open in Arlington on March
28th. Yeah. And I think we're going to see him throw better. He was coming off those arm problems. So I think he'll be a plus thrower moving forward as well. Of course, we have Nico Hoerner, likely. I shouldn't say likely. What's the Gold Glove odds for him? Regardless, he's an elite second baseman.
Turang could win,
and he's a consistent, reliable threat offensively. Wouldn't you say?
I think Nico Hoerner is a very solid player. I love having him on my team. If I'm going to be greedy, which I am, I want Nico Hoerner to do one of two things next season. I'll say it right now. I'm going to wait for you to sip your water so I know I have your
I'm listening. I have headphones.
I should have got some water too.
Yeah, it's a surprise you don't have any liquid.
Well, I might
had a voice problem.
Well, I might do that during the ad. I want Nico Hoerner to do one of these two things. Okay? Or, not and, or. Right. Next year, he needs to hit 300 or hit 15 home runs. One of those two.
Okay, and I like the this or that conversation.
I just want him to take a step forward because he doesn't hit enough home runs, and if you're not going to hit any home runs and you're not going to walk a lot, I need a little bit more pop. So I want Nico Hoerner to hit either 300 or hit 15
home runs, right. All right, well, I'm going to have to reflect on that because I'm not so sure about that ultimatum.
Well, it's not an ultimatum. I'm not saying that if he doesn't do it, I'm not going to watch the club. I'm just saying I'd like to have him do it as the Braves come back late and even the series.
This is a long segment. So I think we're going to probably move on here. And we're gonna actually subtract best move. And we're going to keep doing this. Okay, so after this, we're going to keep going to what went right because it was a lot. Stay tuned.
Oh, boy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase Case. The Jase Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jase Medical makes Sure, you have the medication in hand, and it is simple. They handle everything from the online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code LOCKEDON at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's jacemedical.com, promo code LOCKEDON. The regular season is over, but you can catch the entire postseason on SiriusXM on the SXM app. You can listen to the radio call of your choosing from any of the playoff teams, or keep up with all the postseason discussion you could ever want with MLB Network Radio on Channel 89. All right, so we continue what went right in 2023 for the Chicago National League Ball Club. We left off with Nico Hoerner and Seiya Suzuki from August 9th on was a delight. Really happy that he was able to emerge and be up there with some of the best hitters as I knock my microphone in baseball. That final couple of months, 7-8 weeks of the season. And what were you able to see from him that he was really able to ascend from that point forward after that mini benching?
No, is that
the reason you would cite?
No, nothing. I'm not angry at you, Matt. I'm angry just in general. That's the problem. Nothing. He is he is good enough to where now, of course, you can't be like that the whole year, or else he'd be Mookie Betts or somebody like that.
Well, that'd be great.
But he's always had this talent in him, and that's why I supported him for so long. It's just about 162 games. It's just about right here. If you're listening on audio, I'm pointing to my head right here and staying healthy. If he could lock in, he is a good enough player to be one of the 10 best hitters in the league, right? Think about it. What he has the bat to ball skills. Right. He has the eye. He has the power. He has speed. The last 2 months of the season, Matt, the three best hitters in the major leagues were number 1 and number 2 in the MVP categories, and then him.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. And if he's a top 20 hitter in the league in 24, the Cubs are going to win a lot of baseball games. And a lot of the players said, even Nico Hoerner on the score, that Seiya is the best hitter he's ever seen.
No, people
wild.
People marvel at his talent. It's always been clear since day one. Now, but again, with great talent comes great responsibility, right? Just like with great power comes great responsibility. When you have what? Was that funny?
Are we talking about superheroes?
No,
that's a Marvel or DC reference.
Well, I haven't watched a superhero movie since FDR.
The Dark Knight.
But when you're that talented, expectations come with that,
as
right?
They should.
So I want to see him again. I'm not going to be, a meatball and say I want August and September Seiya for 162 games. That's not realistic,
right?
But and I mean, when you look at, when you look at how, by the way, it's 3-0 Arizona already. I mean,
the game just started.
Yeah, they're really.
Oh my gosh!
When you look at where he finished the season, Matt, he had a terrible 4 months. He had 285, 20 homers, 842 OPS. He should be close to 300, and that OPS should be in the high 8s, low 9s. That's a perennial all-star and a star player.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a great breakdown by you, as always. You talked about Gomes on Friday. You talked about Tauchman. I think Tauchman was going to be in my best move segment, which we could do later this week.
Well, or in 3 months. I mean, we got a lot of time.
Sure. How about
we could do a Christmas episode?
And he talked about, I got some visions for a holiday episode. Yeah. It might be at a local theater. I gotta break that news to you at some point.
I love when you break news to the people before your own partner.
Well, I don't have anything firm.
Yeah, I got visions too.
It's in my head. So
I'd like to see an eye doctor. It's been 15 years. I squint a lot in this show.
So Javier Assad and Jordan Wixam.
Yeah.
were pleasant surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Assad in the rotation, out of the rotation, in the rotation, out of the rotation, stepped up when he needed to. Jordan Wicks, I still remember watching his debut, just a fine outing. Then he really just kept it going from there. Really curious what Assad's role will be in 24. And Wicks, I think, is going to have a rotation spot. Given a couple different factors, but these were two guys that went right in 23 as well.
Yeah, I think that Assad could be a trade candidate.
Yes.
So could Wicks, honestly. But yeah, both guys were solid. I really respected what they did down the stretch. I like I said, it's the same thing I feel about Talkman and the rest of those guys is, I don't want to say guys that aren't as talented, but like guys that you didn't expect to get a ton from that were pitching some of the biggest games of the year and on the mound for the most important time. So, credit to them. They deserve a lot of it.
Yeah.
And, they were really good. I don't know really. I think Wicks has a great chance to open the season in the rotation. Assad will be interesting. I'm a little bit more unsure on him.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that he might not even be on the team. Would like to see him in some type of role, but if they get value back for him, we'll see. And then, just a couple other notes here before we get to how much would it take for the first time since I believe March. The Cubs are this 23 Cubs team, the only team in franchise history to be 10 games under 500 to 10 games over. They actually got to 12 games over.
Wow.
And from June 9th to June 25th, they went 11-2 after the first London win. And then from July 18 to September 6th, they went 33-14. A combined record right there of 44-16, which is wild. And those were two fun stretches. Those were the stretches that got them to that historic pace and got them out of the hole. But just something to be aware of moving forward that, to be 26-36, to be down in the dumps, to climb out of there winning 11-13, to slide back a little bit. I mean, that was the roller coaster of the year. And then that 33-14 stretch. So, something to keep an eye on because there's so many different things you can talk about there.
Right.
And it was great. It was euphoric at times. It produced so many memorable moments, maybe in team history, much less just this year or the Hoyer era, or however you want to define it. But those were fun stretches and did highlight some things they need to do better, though, as well, moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know if this season I learned that, it's such a marathon. You just have to stay the course the whole time. Or if I was right, if I was right the whole time saying every game is so important and that's why you didn't get in. I don't know. I have to do more reflection on that. I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Well, I think the latter point, though, is due to the roster. And the hope is in 24, you're not going to have a roster to be hanging by a thread every game.
You're totally right.
Right. I think it's more the former.
And I'm gonna even add to that. We shouldn't have to be worrying if they're going to be buying or selling before the start of the season.
Oh gosh, no.
So you won't have that race against the clock in July. I think that's one thing Jed kind of overdid this season. Like, prove to me that I should sell. I think that really kind of made people a little bit more anxious than they needed to be. But yes, to your point, if the roster is good enough, it's going to be a 162 game season, not a race to the deadline. And that makes things a little bit easier.
Coming up next, the return of How Much Would It Take? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. October baseball is back, and you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to create your new account. Then you can get in on the action from the first pitch until the final out. Bet on everything from strikeouts to home runs to who will win the game. And if you don't want to wait the whole game to get a W, predict what will happen in the next at bat with quick bets. So head on over to fanduel.com/lockedon right now and step up to the postseason plate with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network and Major League Baseball. As the Bears get saved this week from an ad read. All right, Sam, how much would it take? We have about 5 segments that, due to the minutia of the season, those ended up actually, we literally never went to them. Best and worst, how much would it take? 0 to 100, trivia, and those are the 4 that I could think of right now. So we're going to bring back the segments every now and then, and today it is how much would it take. So I have one sports one, and then one like funner one, more fun, excuse me.
Yeah, more fun.
And fall related. So okay. Blackhawks season opener on Tuesday. Shout out to Locked On Blackhawks host Jack Bushman. He's a major reason why we're on this show. I saw him at a Subway in Crystal Lake in June of 22. We could tell that story. We've told that story before. We'll tell it again.
Well, and I don't like how you always
right
you always insult Subway, and look at what it's done for you.
Right. How much would it take for you to go to a Blackhawks game this winter?
Yeah, people are gonna make fun of me.
Connor Bedard.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the sport of hockey. It brings absolutely no interest or entertainment to me. Wow. So I would look at it as like a night out. So like if I'm going out and I want something new to do and this kid's something special to watch, $250, please.
Okay, and please tune in to Locked On Blackhawks as I will be starting this week to get my Connor Bedard fix and a whole lot more.
So it's funny how our minds kind of think alike. Because
oh, really?
it wasn't Blackhawk related, but I have a similar. How much would it take for you? No. Okay. How much would it take, Matt, next summer? You're a teacher. Summers are a little bit lighter for you, of course. And,
at least for now, yeah.
You have more. By the way, did you have school today on Monday?
No.
Oh, congrats on the day off.
Had a lot going on though.
Yeah, no, you do have a lot. But the summer overall is a lighter time for you. You do have
yes, that's true
for more activities. That's all.
For sure. The summer, that's true. Yeah.
Not trying to tell your life story here.
I had the best summer of my life this past summer. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know that. Shout out to Kira. How much would it take next season for you, lovely Kira, to go out to 10 Chicago White Sox games?
Oh, my gosh. That's way too many.
No, on 35th and Shields, you got to attend 10 of them. And wait, Here's the caveat that none of them could be Cubs Sox game.
Yeah, I would say $250,000. $250,000.
Okay, come on. That's not even funny.
So $250,000, bro.
No, if she were listening to this, if I said 50 G's, you guys would be lined up. You'd have it done by April. I mean, come on. Don't lose the credibility of the show.
All right, well, then I'll split the difference. I'll say about 125.
250 G's. What are you, Bill Gates? Jeez.
All right. Well, I was trying to spice it up. So.
No, $250K. I mean, I'd go on the field.
I got one more about candy corn if you wanted to hear it.
Okay, absolutely.
It's only a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
How much would it take for you to eat candy corn every day for the rest of this month?
Not much. I mean, I don't. You know me. I really don't get involved in these dumb holiday pumpkin spice. This is
Christmas
candy
music
corn
on the radio.
Christmas, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, well, that's not holiday related.
No, it's not holiday related, but it's the same thing. My answer to all those is I don't care. So I don't know. I like candy, so I'd say I
do
every day for the rest of the month. I mean, if I'm just having one or two, I'll give you $100. I don't know.
Okay, very good.
I got kind of like a thrower, like the one that'll throw you off a little bit. You got to think your mind. How much money would you give to re-sign Cody Bellinger this offseason?
Well, no, I think he should be a priority, and it's gonna have to be an early priority.
But it's just kind of a weird question because I don't want to I don't want people. If I say
Right. How much money do we give?
Right.
Well, no,
right.
I would give maybe one of my possessions
Okay. Yeah.
for him.
I would get. I would put $1,000 towards it.
Yeah. Okay.
1,000. I don't think it like now. If you were to say how much would it take for me, or how much would I pay to have Bellinger, Soto, and Yamamoto?
Those three for sure.
Now you're talking about.
No, I'd pay maybe about $2 or $3 grand.
Well, now you're talking about a number much higher than that for me, because
Right.
we'd make it back with the show.
Right. That's true. That's true.
I gotta go. I'm starting to cough.
So a lot of good things from this program. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. Coming up this week, David Ross, awards, position group grades, and more as we continue to recap 2023. Again, thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. I'm trying this out today, Sam. Some new phrasing, some new branding. You give us 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube and smash the like button for the algorithm. Shout out to the audio peeps as we're in your ears on Apple, Spotify, Sirius XM, and more. Over 30 minutes today. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.